want to welcome you this morning to this meeting of the Drainage District Board of Directors for today, May the 29th, 2012. Present are Commissioners Palacios, Precinct 2, and Palacios, Precinct 4, and myself. We have a quorum. Is there anything under open forum?
Not that I'm aware of, Judge.
All right, our consent agenda, any concerns?
Yes. No concerns, Judge.
Move for approval of the consent agenda?
Yes. Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. And under item 4, sir?
Under item 4A, requesting approval to issue purchase order to Skyline Steel for the purchase of sheet piling as it relates to the declaration of emergency previously approved by the Hidalgo County Drainage Number 1 Board of Directors on April 10, 2012, agenda item 3176-2, item A and E, reconstruction of weir structure on the main floodwater channel. We're ready to order the sheet piling, which is a major component of the structure for repairs. It's going to be about $588,000 for the structure itself on the materials.
Yes.
So moved. Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item B, requesting approval to advertise for the following. 1, RFP number 1201. Yes, sir.
Question on that is, are we talking about one location or two?
One location, Commissioner. That weir is
Who is it?
anticipated to run us probably about $1.6, $1.7 million.
Oh, God.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, bye.
Under item 4B, 1, RFP number 12-011-0711, Hidalgo County Drainage System Number 1, J09 Drain Improvements, Phase 1 Irrigation Siphon. We're ready to go forward with the irrigation adjustments. It's 2 siphons that we need to place in there, so the precinct can continue the excavation of the J09. Requesting authorization to advertise.
Move for approval?
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Under item 4C, presentation of scoring grid of the firms evaluated through the district's pool of professional engineers for the purpose of ranking by the Hidalgo County Drainage District Number 1 Board of Directors as it relates to the updating of the Hidalgo County Drainage Master Plan development of drainage improvements for Hidalgo County Drainage Number 1 within Precinct Number 3. We have 3 firms that were graded by the precinct: L&G Engineering, Javier Hinojosa Engineering, Quintanilla Hadley and Associates. L&G Engineering with 100, Javier Hinojosa with a 91, and Quintanilla Hadley and Associates with an 88.
Well, it's hard to argue with 100.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor
Excuse
indicate by
me,
saying aye.
No,
Aye.
we accept the,
We
Yes, sir.
accept
My
that.
request is for you all to
LNG.
consider the ranking as submitted by the precinct. We did not do the ranking. Moving on to item D, pursuant to the Board's approval, requesting authority for Hidalgo County Drainage Number 1 to negotiate contract with the number 1 ranked firm of L&G Engineering for professional engineering services updating of the Hidalgo County Drainage System Master Plan and development of drainage improvements for the Hidalgo County Drainage Number 1 within Precinct Number 3.
so moved.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Under item 4E, presentation of scoring grid of the firms evaluated through the district's pool of professional engineers for the purpose of ranking by the Hidalgo County Drainage Number 1 Board of Directors as it relates to the updating of the Hidalgo County Drainage Master Plan and development drainage improvements for the Hidalgo County Drainage Number 1 within Precinct Number 2. We had 3 firms: R. Gutierrez Engineering Corporation, Quintanilla Hadley and Associates, and Javier Hinojosa Engineering, with the Ramiro Gutierrez Corp. with a ranking of 95, Quintanilla 87, and Javier Hinojosa 85. Again, these were ranked by the precinct.
Move for approval?
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item F, pursuant to the board's approval, requesting authority for Hidalgo County Drainage Number 1 to negotiate contract with the number 1 ranked firm of R. Gutierrez Engineering Corporation for professional engineering services, updating of the Hidalgo County Drainage Master Plan and development drainage improvements for the Hidalgo County Drainage Number 1, Precinct Number 2.
Move for approval?
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Just for general information for the board, Precinct Number 4 is going to be utilizing an existing contract with Dawes Logistics to provide the services that we need for Precinct Number 4
Our on-call contract?
on your on-call contract, sir.
And-
We have not received anything from Precinct Number 1 yet, sir, for the board's consideration.
Okay.
May I move on to item 5, sir?
That the only one needed then? is
Yes, sir.
Precinct 1? All right. Who came out with, who did 3 propose?
Precinct Number 3, their staff did all the ranking. Oh, the precinct number 3 proposed LNG.
LNG.
Precinct number 2 was Ramiro Gutierrez. Precinct number 4 was DOS Logistics. Precinct number 1 is still pending. We received nothing from them.
Okay. All right, next item.
Item number 5, request approval of claim in the amount of $2,000 to YCR Groves, Dave Rogers, due to soil erosion and property damage. We had a bank on one of our ditches that came off with the rains that we received several months ago and basically tore up a row of orange trees along a property. These individuals went forward and cleared up the area, and they're requesting to recompensate for their property that was damaged by the erosion, and most of it was just the labor. We did go out there and stake the right-of-way. This damage did occur on their property, and it did come from our facility.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
We have no item in closed session this board wishes to entertain one.
Need a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. We have to wait a few minutes before we begin our regular meeting.
Thank you very much, Judge Commissioner.
Thank you, sir. We want to welcome all of you here to today's meeting of the Hidalgo County Commissioners Court. Today being May the 29th, 2012, present are Commissioner Palacios, Precinct 2, Palacios, Precinct 4, and myself. We have a quorum. At this time, we would request Mr. Frank Travers to see if he would lead us in our Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And if you would lead us in prayer, please, Mr. Travers.
Almighty God, we come together today for the good of the citizens of Hidalgo County. Give us your wisdom as we make decisions that will affect them today and in the years to come. Help us to work well together, recognizing that each of us are here because we want what is best for Hidalgo County. We ask for your blessings and your guidance. In your name we pray. Amen.
Thank you. Mr. Travers, if you would introduce, I know you have some family members here that are with us from San Diego, California. I think your daughter, your granddaughter.
Thank you, Judge. It's very nice of you. My daughter, Cindy, my granddaughter, Erin, here from San Diego. We will be leaving shortly. We're not boycotting your meeting, Judge. We have to get them to the airport. Thank you so much.
All right, any concerns with our consent agenda, Mr. Ocasio?
None, Judge.
Need a motion to approve?
Recommend approval.
So moved.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Judge, if I may, can you move, I'm on request, so we move the public forum at this point.
Well, I thought we were going to have an item on it.
No, but they didn't have anything.
Well, let's put it on the agenda for next week then. Item number 5, our executive officer, Mr. Guerra.
Excuse me. Walter, can you take up the public forum?
The public forum. Oh, I'm sorry, Commissioner. You're talking about, okay, I understand. Okay, open forum.
Well, whatever you call it.
Okay, that would be item 19, Judge, Commissioners.
Did you put it on the agenda, buddy?
No, sir, I didn't put it on the agenda. I
That
think,
reason I requested we just move it out of order and address it.
In light of, all right.
Well, put it on the agenda, Valde, for next week so that we can act on the... All right. The first presenter, let's go ahead and do that. There's only two of them this time. And the first presenter is Ms. Virginia Townsend.
Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
You see, I put, if it runs on time, because I really thought it was going to be at the end, and then it wouldn't have time, because I have to leave early. But I do appreciate it very much if you all put it back at the open forum, put it back at the beginning of the meeting, because we get stopped every place we go and say, would you please get them to put it back, because we stay up on Tuesdays to watch it. So that would be nice if you did, and we feel like we're some kind of a representative of the taxpayers, and I think they feel the same way, and so it works for everybody, I think, but I do appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, next presenter is Fern McClarity.
Yeah, you caught me off guard. I couldn't believe we get to go early. First thing I want to do is, as Virginia said, we're getting phone calls. I get stopped in Sam's and everything, and people saying they'd like to see what county business is doing by listening to open forum. So I want to give out the numbers. I keep telling everyone to call the county judge's office at 318-2600. And you can call Valdi's office at 292-7025. Extension 5402, or you can call him on his cell at 457-2803, because these two keep saying that they do not receive any calls from the public saying they would like the open forum put back in the front. And then my main question and subject here, I looked in the policy of several counties. This rules of procedure, conduct, decorum at meetings of county commissioners court. And this one is the Hidalgo County Commissioners Court. Number 5, the county judge is the presiding officer of Hidalgo County Commissioners Court and is fully participating member thereof. In the event of the absence of the county judge, the senior member of the Commissioners Court in term of total number of years as an elected representative represents the regular, special, emergency meeting and executive session shall serve as the judge pro tem of the court. However, not herewithin shall provide the senior member of this commissioner court, and from there he can delegate his duties to another member of the court if he wants to. So it would be, in this case, it would be Tito Palacios that's been there the longest. So, like I say, we asked the attorney last week, and we were told there was no such paperwork, there was no such of an item on there. So I just wanted to let the lawyer and the county judge know that there really is something out there on the computer. Thank you.
Next item, Mr. Guerra. Now that we've accommodated the open forum issue, let's go on to number 5.
Thank you, Judge. Commissioners, there's no action under item 5A, 1 and 2 at this time. Item 5B, I'm asking approval of a claim invoice. This would be for the City of Edinburgh in the amount of $22,708.80. This would be for the months of October 2011 through March 2012. There is a PO number 675044, as well as $3,784.80 for the month of April of this year in connection with the rental of the council chambers. This also would be with the authority for the county treasurer to issue payment and check after review, audit, and processing procedures are completed by our county auditor, Mr. Ufracio's office.
Any idea why took him so long to invoice us?
Mr. Ufracio, I will ask Marta Salazar, our purchasing agent. Is she in the audience right now?
What is the agreement or contract or in local, whatever, in regards to use of this facility?
In regards to using the facility?
Yeah.
We get the use of the facility every Tuesday, and upon special request, we get it for I believe it's 5 hours. We also Again, as I said, through special requests, we can utilize the
When
the
necessary.
chambers as necessary, which we have asked.
There seems to be a conflict one Tuesday out of the month or the week. We were asked to,
Oh, there was right, there was an EDC meeting that was being held by the city of Edinburgh, so they asked.
can you look into it and make sure that, that we have the place available, whatever we need
Yes,
in regards to the time?
yes.
I spoke to the city manager and he asked if there were any concerns. And my only comment was, we don't have a problem with the use of it, but if we run, as an example, the last week, we were told we need to,
Right, they needed the use of the chambers or their facility for the EDC meeting.
there's a couple, you can work with them, and I was told it's only once a month that they have this situation.
Right, yes, sir.
Commissioner, and by the same token, I know that there have been EDC meetings or other meetings scheduled for this chamber, and they have accommodated us by taking the meeting to another area of the building.
I have no problem with it. All I'm suggesting is if we have a meeting scheduled for a certain time and it becomes a problem, then see if we can accommodate their needs and our needs.
Yes, sir, we certainly will discuss that with the city. As far as the billing is concerned, I don't know who the point of contact for the city is. I certainly will find out. At this moment, I don't have the interlocal in front of me, but I do know that we had not been billed until this item was placed on the agenda.
We don't know.
At this point, I don't have the instrument in front of me, but I certainly will follow up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Judge,
All right.
Commissioners, if
Do we, on item 5B, was action taken on?
no, sir, not yet.
Need a motion in a second?
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries to approve.
Thank you, Judge, Commissioners. Item 5C, I'm
Now,
asking.
hold on,
I'm
Valdez,
sorry.
hold on. At this time, I would want to take out of order
Sure.
item 11B, as in boy.
Yes, sir.
We have present with us Mr. David McCormick, who is the Facilities Director of the State Health Services, and he's here to talk to us about our facility here at Edinburgh, hold on. The John Austin Peña Primary Care and Substance Abuse Facility.
That's correct, sir. We have item 11B, pursuant to House Bill 1884, requesting authorization of order accepting certification of substantial completion of John Austin Peña Primary Care and Substance Abuse Facility. I'd like to have Mr. David McCormick give a brief presentation on our current situation, sir.
Judge, Commissioners, Mr. Euphracio, thank you for letting me speak to you. We are substantially complete and have requested the county accept the building dated October the 4th, 2011, which is when we finished the substantial completion. It was signed off on by the state, the architect, myself, for the Department of State Health Services. And since that time, we've had a grand opening. The county has provided insurance on the building, December the 11th, I think, if I'm not mistaken. The county has occupied the building. Scan services are out there now providing adolescent services for the Hidalgo County Health Department. As far as we're concerned, the building is substantially complete. There's a small drainage problem between us and Precinct 4. If you're familiar with the area, Precinct 4 is across the drainage ditch. There's a little swale of dirt that's preventing some water drainage from the back of the building, which we're going to take care of. Not a problem. We'll probably use Mr. Quintanilla to come set some grades so we can regrade that back area back there. In addition to that, we've hired Negrete Kolar was our architect originally, and we've expanded his scope of work because I have some money left over in the project. I have about $200,000 left over that I need to spend on the improvements to that building. Prior to transferring the deed, the Texas Facilities Commission requires us to expend all the legislated funds. So we have a little balance left. In the back of the building, towards the original park area, this is the building, this is the highway in front. This is our new building. Right now the paving stops here and here. This park area in the back, we have enough funds to expand that, provide exterior lighting, provide trees and shrubs, provide a little irrigation. We've already got an irrigation tap in the front. We'll expand the circuit off of that and expend our funds on something that the participants in the building can utilize and you can utilize later on whenever the facilities will be expanded. But we can go ahead and do that park work now without disturbing our occupants, without disturbing the county, and we can expend our funds on that.
How much?
So,
how much is?
It's probably going to run us anywhere from $100,000 to $125,000. We'll use Enriquez Enterprise, which was our contractor. We'll use Negrete Kolar to design it. And if you'd like, we can bring that design back before the county to let you all take a look at it before we issue it, which I think would be a good idea.
All right, sir.
But that finishes up the building. In the meantime, we would ask that the certificate of substantial completion be completed. I've attached the original certificate to the item, showing that it's been accepted by the architect, Enriquez, and the Texas Facilities Commission. My letter attached requesting that I appear and have your attention. Concerns, questions? Anything I can answer for you? We have gone through House Bill 1884, line by line, word by word, with our attorneys and with Stephen Crane, your attorney, and we've met that process. The Precinct 4 staff have been thoroughly involved in the planning of the building originally, but the Precinct 4 staff are not. We didn't do any inspections by the county since the state provided their own inspections. And we are substantially complete, and I request your review of this request and sign off on the substantial completion document.
A couple of things, Judge, real quick. I need to acknowledge Mr. McCormick and his efforts. This has been a program that he started back in 1997. I've been involved with it for going on 8 years already, and getting this program complete. The main issue, David has been a tremendous advocate for us, and actually by having some additional funding, thanks to some additional grants and support we got from FEMA, we're able to work this out. Some support we got from Commissioner's Court, in particular Precinct 4, who actually brought some cost savings into the whole project, and that savings returned would allow us to buy some of the furnishing, some of the computing equipment, some of the things that would have to come out from general fund. But thanks to the planning, primarily through Mr. McCormick and his team, thanks to Precinct 4 and the Commissioner's Court, we've been able to maximize every penny, still have a little bit of money left over to do some additional work within the area. With the total plan for the future to still look at developing a residential treatment program for children there, that's the master plan, and we're working with legislation and working on that maybe one day it'll come to fruition in the next few years that whole facility would be a residential component for inpatient care for kids that have alcohol and drug abuse problems.
Well, Mr. McCormick, on behalf of the residents of Hidalgo County, we certainly want to thank you for all these years of work so that we could accomplish this, having this facility that is very badly needed. We're the largest metropolitan area in South Texas, yet unfortunately, we have a horrible substance abuse problem amongst many of our young people and, well, many of our people. And up to now, people that needed help had to go to Laredo, had to go to Corpus. Those were the nearest places. And it really was a tremendous inconvenience, and many, not just inconvenience, but many people, because of the distance, would not be going and would not be getting the help that they need. So we certainly want to thank you for the work that you have done in allowing us to have this facility here in our county.
Thank you, Judge. Senator Hinojosa had a lot to do with the original legislation, and that really helped us out to get the basic funding. I would like to thank David Negretti with Negretti Kohler Architects. They've done a great job for us. We've had their contract for about 4 years now. We finally got finished with it. We are expanding it, like I said, to finish up this one last change order. Enriquez Enterprise has done a marvelous job for us. They've opened their hearts. They've conducted meetings with us. I can't say anything any better for Enriquez. And of course, your own staff with the Hidalgo County Health Department, Mr. Olivares and his staff have been very helpful. Thank you, Judge, very much, Commissioners.
And we want to wish you well. I understand that you're about to enter retirement.
I'm very close, very close.
That this is your last project. We're certainly glad you picked this one.
This is my last project.
You're gonna retire again?
I don't have any more work for Mr. Eufrasio. I'll be fine.
Eddie, I got a quick question.
Yes.
According to the supporting documentation, there was a punch list of minor deficiencies. Is that been completed?
We have 2 issues on there, Ray. We have a drainage issue going out the back door, which I mentioned a while ago. The property's pretty level. In fact, it's real level. We've got about a 4-inch difference between the back door and the sidewalks and the old railroad track way down the back. It's just enough to make the water roll up over the sidewalks, and it's not getting in the building, but it's very close. So we're going to put a slight swale in it before we start this landscape work to grade that water off towards the backside.
Yeah.
The other issue was a sign, an ADA sign. We hired an outside ADA consultant to look at the building and make sure it was totally accessible. He found one issue that needs to be fixed, and that's the sign, and that'll be done on this same item.
All right, thank you.
Commissioner Palacio, you got a question?
Yeah, no, just a statement, and we're prepared to respond in any way to assist in that swell, just to prevent
Thank you very much.
to improve the drainage, obviously, in that area.
Mr. Quintanilla and his crew did the civil work for you all, as you know, and he's offered his services also. I think he and Mr. Negretti have already talked. So
Absolutely.
We're going down the road on that one.
But this situation, Judge and Commissioners, you need to understand, and I need to compliment Mr. Crane, because there's legal precedence in the state of Texas for this whole project. It's never been done in Texas history. And really, Steve and the state attorneys and Mr. McCormick, he could tell you more about it, that it's never been done. It's the first time.
When we came to the county and asked to select that piece of property, it's county-owned property, belonged to the county. So in order for TFC to build on it at that time, it took 2 or 3 different legal rulings, and it finally came down that the property had to belong to the state before they could issue state funds on it. So we transferred the property to the state. Well, which state agency needs it? TFC, Texas Facility Commission, or DSHS, who actually had the funding that was legislated for us. So they decided DSHS has to own it. So then we have to run a contract back with TFC to build the building. It was a long story. It's taken us about 3.5, 4 years to get here, but we finally finished it. We're down to the bottom of the budget. The building is substantial. Oh, by the way, it was inspected by FEMA. It does meet Category 2 winds. That grant was very beneficial. So you've got a strong structure out there on top of that one little hill that will stand any type of winds, any type of rain. So
Do we need to act on an order of accepting it?
Yes, sir.
At this time, I would entertain an order pursuant to House Bill 1884, authorizing the order accepting certificate of substantial completion of the John Austin Peña Primary Care and Substance Abuse Facility by the county.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Eddie, do you want to finish your item?
Yes, sir, we can do that, and I think Mr. McCormick wants to thank you, each and every one of you.
It's a pleasure.
Why don't you bring a camera over here? And good luck to you at your retirement. We'd like to take a picture if you don't mind.
Come on. Hand it right.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Judge, if you allow me to finish my items, item number 11A, discussion and action including but not limited to indigent healthcare primary care. We're continuing to work on the 1115 waiver There's been a series of meetings and information that's been exchanged. We have a phone conference this week where we're going to catch up on the regional health plan. I spoke with Steve Aragon, the state legal counsel, the chief legal counsel for DSHS, and Mr. Crane are working on an agreement that is going to be finalized on dealing with our regional health plan. So that's being under works as well. So we're working closely with the hospital. I'll keep you all informed. We still are planning to have a workshop, but I want to have the beginnings of the framework of the plan before we bring it to the workshop here at Commissioner's Court. There's no action. Sir. Any questions or anything on that item?
Move on to item 11C.
11C, sir, I'm bringing this, is not very often I do these, but I'm bringing a claim forward, sir, for $627.93. This is the utilization cost for our satellite phones. The satellite phones are used during hurricanes. They're for emergency operation only.
Thank you. I need a motion. I entertain a motion. A second. Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Okay. Item D, sir, is requesting authorization for Hidalgo County Health and Human Services Department to collaborate with the University of Texas Pan American College of Health Science and Human Services for the purpose of establishing a model healthcare that will teach an interprofessional team approach healthcare problems for the poor and underserved in the proposed in this particular grant application from the United States Department of Health and Human Services. While the main application for this grant will be University of Texas Pan American, Hidalgo County Health and Human Services would participate through an MOU to be determined. Through an MOU, Hidalgo County's role would be to provide access to county clinics. This is just getting permission to apply for the grant. If the grant is awarded, then we would negotiate the MOU at that time with legal counsel and the appropriate parties. But we don't even know if that MOU would be approved, the grant would be approved yet.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item F is requesting yes, sir.
Question reference 11C. What was the reason for the claim, Eddie?
Oh, what happened on this one, sir, we have the satellite phones were not used at all. It's just that we pay a regular monthly cost. It's regular minutes. It's like batch minutes per month. We have to have this form of communication available to adhere to a lot of our emergency management grants and our substance abuse grants, our bioterrorism grants. And what happened is once the county changed their policy dealing with IRS and all of that, what happened is that we are now paying this bill out, redoing the policy that it would adhere to that particular setup for this when we come back to apply for the additional services in the future. But we're going to set it up in a way that would adhere to the IRS cell phone, satellite phone, computer usage policy that's been developed by the county.
But I would think that the reason would be that there wasn't a purchase order filed. So is it possible for you to get a purchase order from purchasing to get the services?
We could get that purchase order going. That purchase order is in place. What happened is that it had to deal with our contractual component to it, Mr. Horacio. And this was just, since they were not used, it was overlooked, and we didn't get that covered. It was an error on our part.
Oh, thank you.
It was an error on our part. Item, I think I still have.
You move on to item E.
Item E, requesting authorizations to submit the renewal grant application for the tuberculosis FY13 funding in the amount of $455,507.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 2 is requesting authorizations to submit the renewal grant application for the tuberculosis federal funding FY13 in the amount of $433,127.
Move for approval.
Check.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item F is requesting approval to renew for a period of 1 year the memorandum of agreement between the Texas A&M University Health System Center and Hidalgo County on an on-site education program. This is for their graduate public health degree. They could do the practicums on site.
Move for approval.
Check.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you very much, Judge Commissioners.
Thank you, sir. All right, let's move.
Judge, if we may, I see an elected official here. We got Constable.
Oh, you're hiding behind a wall there, Mr. Gallardo.
Yeah, his item, Judge, is 6A.
Good morning. Larry Gallardo, Constable Precinct 3. I bring to you 6A. It's approval to renew interlocal agreements between Hidalgo County and the following school districts for the 2012-2013 school year: La Joya ISD, Mission C ISD, and Sharyland ISD. This is our truancy program that we've done in the past for the last 5-6 years, where the county and the school districts do a 50-50 cash match to target juvenile truancy and delinquency.
Move for approval. What is the cost to the county?
50%, which would be $79,255.74 and $79,255.74.
What is that money used for, Larry?
Sir?
What is the money used
There's
for?
the 3 deputies that are assigned, one each to each school district
And
to serve as
all
summonses.
both of our JPs are working and
Yes.
cooperating
Yeah,
with
that's
them?
why we have these, either we do it without the money, or we do it with a little help from the school district.
All right.
When you say all the JPs, you're talking about precinct 3.
No, I
Yes.
said both.
Yes.
There's only, both JPs.
All, those cases are filed with the JP courts.
Only for precinct 3?
Yes.
Just on this one?
Yes.
right?
But he's not elected yet.
Any reason why school districts don't pick up the cost on this?
What happens there, Commissioner, they are picking up the costs right here.
No, 100% of it.
Well, it's either if they don't, then we still got to do the work. So either we pay 100% of it, the county, or they pay 50%. Now, keep in mind that during the off-season, when there is no school, we use them to either go execute warrants or serve process or collect delinquent taxes. So it's kind of a win situation for everybody.
Thank you.
Move for approval?
Need a second?
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, item 5C, Mr.
Thank you, Judge. Item 5C, I'm asking approval for some travel. Cristina Perez from the Extension Service, and that would be for a June 2012 travel. Items 2 and 3 are also related requests in action. Barbara Stores for a June 2012 travel as well. And again, Cristina Perez in June for a District 12 4-H program.
Move for approval of C1, 2, and 3?
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Judge, Commissioners, item D is a reimbursement on a fuel purchase to reimburse Mr. Tomas Salazar in the amount of $31. His car did not operate at the pump.
Move for approval?
Need a second? Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And item E is a memorandum of understanding between the county and Texas Department of Public Safety, and this is to use one of our county-owned buildings, 1212 South 25th Street in Edinburgh, and this is to provide driver's license services. Judge, Commissioners, as we're all aware, DPS is renovating its facilities in McAllen. In the past, for a number of years, we did have a presence of DPS driver's license in Edinburgh at the same location. And so in talking to DPS, they're asking to utilize that same building as they will be shutting down their McAllen for the renovations. As I said earlier, we'll be providing this location. All the infrastructure that was there prior to them vacating is still in existence. And so it is relatively an easy move-in as all the infrastructure still exists for them. They would be servicing all the residents that go to the McAllen site would then be serviced here at the Edinburgh site. And
How long is the?
We're looking at approximately a year, Commissioner. The dilemma that comes up in the renovation of the McAllen office is the constituency. Right now, the other location is in Westlaco.
Do we have any other need for the space?
At this time, no, sir. We had been looking at the building for some other areas. They did not, for the county, they did not work. And when this came up, actually, in looking at all the other areas, I worked with your office in looking at some other areas in your precinct. They were not conducive because of the type of service that DPS is going to be providing, the driver's license, and also the testing for the vehicles, people applying to get a driver's license. It just made all the sense in the world to go back to the original location that they had for, again, for a number of years in Edinburgh.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Item 7.
Yolanda Chapa, Administrator with the County Judge. We are asking for approval to transfer the Public Affairs Office from the Executive Office to the County Judge's Office. They actually have physically moved and have been at Mediplex for the past 2 weeks. We work very closely with them. Today, what we're asking you to do is to move approval of their interdepartmental transfer and approval of the revised salary schedule. So salary is the same as just being transferred to our department. And then, of course, we're asking for appointment of Hidalgo County Public Information Officer to be Karina Cardoza. Currently, it is Valdeguerra. So we're moving all responsibilities under there.
Ms. Chapa,
Yes, sir.
is the Public Information Officer one of those positions that are being transferred?
No. The designation, appointment of a designation. A number of years ago, Mr. Eufrasio, they designated me as a public information officer. We all understand how the act works. Every official can act as their own information officer, but in general, when we get requests, they needed a point of contact. And so they had designated me, it must have been 8, 9 years ago. And so when Karina came on board, through me, I delegated that responsibility to her, but I was still of record. I know that there is no statute that indicates appointment of, but the court did take action a number of years ago to have a point of contact. And so for the fact of keeping consistency with that action that was taken a number of years ago, that's what I believe this is for.
Right, exactly.
My question is, Valde, I don't know if Ms. Chapa, who can answer this, but of the 4 positions that are being transferred over, which one of those is the Public Information Officer?
Karina Cardoza.
Karina Cardoza, the Operations Administrator.
Okay, that was my...
Oh, I'm so, okay,
Okay.
Karina Cardoza,
So that's
I
Karina.
believe.
That was number 2, Mr. Eufrasio, where I said the appointment of the Public Information Officer will be Karina Cardoza.
Right, no, but I was just wondering of the positions that you were transferring
sir.
over, which one was Karina's?
There are
Transfer.
no new positions. They're all existing positions. We've been working very closely with that office, and they have physically now moved there.
Yeah, the only concern I'll have is the fact that currently they're under the they're under the direction of the executive officer right now. We'd be reverting them into the county judges. And I could understand logistically they're located where you're at, and it should be centrally located. The only question I'm going to have is whether or not we conferred with the other commissioners, being the fact that we are a 3-member panel today, and we're considering a personnel move from one countywide into the county judge's office.
And that's
I just
totally-
want to defer to
Sure.
any court member or anybody that's had dialogue with the other 2 court members related to this change.
And I want to reassure the Commissioners Court that in conversing with Mr. Guerra and, of course, Karina and the judge, that she will still be the Public Affairs Office, and so will the department for the entire county. She's simply going to be directly under the county judge's office. So whatever the court's
Have we
wishes.
conferred with the other 2 commissioners about this agenda item, the ones that are not present here, specifically Commissioner?
I don't know if Yolanda has, but I have. I've
Okay.
conferred with both of them before I put the item on the agenda.
Okay. And they're in favor of
Yeah,
this?
yes, I mean, the effect of this is to move it from being under the executive office to where it historically had always been, and during my first term, that's where it was, under the county judge's office.
Oh, right.
And that's where the public information requests are going to be going through and approved. It'll be through the county judge's office.
Okay.
If this matter is passed.
Judge, would that be all open record requests for everyone, or just for departments not including elected officials?
That's what I believe will be the effect, but we're going to be refining it. Right now, we're going to be setting this structure up, and then we're going to be out there refining it to the point where we have one voice coming out of the county. And instead of instead of having every one of those 3,000 employees being involved in just making decisions about public information, it'll all be channeled through the county judge's office.
Because by statute, an elected office could be his or her public information officer, or provide public information.
Correct. Well, I'm not talking, I'm sorry, I don't mean elected officers.
That's what I was wondering, this would affect.
Yeah, no. This is totally different.
You say you have spoken to Commissioner Flores and Quintanilla?
I'm sorry, Commissioner?
Commissioner Flores and Quintanilla.
I've talked to both of them. They both said that they would favor this item, but unfortunately, they're not here, and I can understand why Commissioner Quintanilla is not here, but since today's election day and he's on the ballot, but...
So is Flores.
Right.
Judge, I was prepared. I have no problem with the item. I just, I guess I would feel a little more comfortable having at least another member or the other two members here to voice their opinion. And I could understand there is a level of concern when we're talking about the release of public information, and there should be a methodology, and it should be centrally located and handled appropriately. And I have no problem with it. I understand where they're located. I have no problem with that. But being the fact that I haven't conferred with the other two commissioners either, but I have no problem if the other court members are willing to take a vote on it today. But my word of caution is there's a 3-member panel. It's a countywide. Originally it was.
Judge, can I wait till next week?
I mean, if that's a request that's being made by both of you here, then, we'll wait.
We'll bring it back next week.
Totally what your direction
Can you put it back on the agenda
Sure.
for next week?
Yes, we will.
And give us a little, we'll do our due diligence to ensure that there's a level of comfort.
The other issue to this, I want to make sure that we work with Karina when there are situations that she may be asked to do that are not in her job description, and we want to make sure she's helped through those things.
And I speak for my office specifically also, is when I get a request, and I'd love to defer it out to assure that somebody's privy to the process and what we can do, because I can tell you at this point, I'm a bit oblivious of what the actual process is, and I'd be more comfortable deferring it out.
It's amazing the number of requests that come in on a daily basis. But we'll put it back on Commissioner's Court, Judge?
For Tuesday.
Okay. Thank you.
Put it on next week then, Yolanda. Item 8, our Sheriff's Office.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Item A8, approval of resolution to adopt the Lower Rio Grande Valley Development Council Region 1 Regional Interoperability Communication Plan.
Move for approval?
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Number 2, approval for the county judge as authorized official to sign the resolution.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And B, sir, pursuant to the Hidalgo County Cellular Telephone Policy Contract DIR SDD 611, presentation for consideration, acceptance, and approval of cellular phone request form data card request for the following. The approval for requisition number 216280. This is for 35 air cards for connection for modems, or mobile modems.
Move for approval?
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, sir. Item 10, our Tax Office.
Judge, I think we skipped number 9. Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Paul Villarreal, Chief of Operations for the Tax Office, and Eva Mireles, Chief Accountant.
Oh.
We're here before you.
Go ahead, Paul.
Okay.
You're a quasi-elected officer anyway.
Thank you very much. We're here before you respectfully asking to see if we can take action to delete a slot 053. Deputy Clerk 2 was wrongly reclassified. We would like to create slot number 0137 for Accountant 1.
Move for approval?
And that includes 2 and 3?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
All right, those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thank you. Okay, let's move it back to item 9, our District Clerk. Is anyone here from the district clerk's office? Why don't you present it, Baldi?
Yes, and yes, sir, I'm a little familiar here. It's a change fund. They're asking to increase their change fund by $225. Currently, it is $25, and they're asking to move it up to $250. Therefore, that's the change of $225. It'll be distributed among 4 cashiers. The registry cashier, $25, the trust cashier, $25, and $100 for each of the 2 cage cashiers. This is in accordance with the Texas Local Government Code 130.902.
Move for approval?
Check.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Item 12, our IT department. Anyone here from the IT department?
No, sir, but I can go ahead. This is for Verizon Wireless. They're asking approval to upgrade wireless devices and the county's membership participation. The contract is DIR SDD-604. The username is Public Affairs Office, and their current device is a MIFI 2200 intelligent mobile hotspot, and they're asking to upgrade that to an MIFI 4510L 4G.
Move for approval?
Need a second?
Check. Baldi.
Yes, sir.
Judge, for me.
I'm sorry, Commissioner?
What is exactly the request here?
I didn't hear
That's
that.
a problem with not having a department head here, unless you're familiar with it.
I didn't hear what the Commissioner
He
did.
wants to know exactly what the request is.
Oh, the request is to upgrade the, it's a mobile device. It's for wireless internet.
It's an internet card.
It's an internet card, so they're asking to upgrade it to a 4G, which is the latest technology.
So it's an upgrade, it's
It's a-
already assigned to an individual?
Right, it's assigned to the public affairs.
I think what it is they're upgrading the card that is a faster one.
Right, to a 4G, which is the latest technology.
Okay.
That's what that is, Commissioner. It's a wireless device.
Any other questions?
No.
Those in
Thanks.
favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
We've also got the same request for item B under the IT department. It is also through our contract DIR SDD 604, Verizon Wireless. We're asking to approve a service plan for Richard Sunday, unlimited data plan, and Seferino Garza, also unlimited data plan. $37.99 plus $5. It's $42.99 per month for each of the plans.
Balde,
Yes, sir.
question on those 2 items. They're going back to January 2012. Would it be permissible to go back, Steve, and do a retroactive?
You can't go
You can't-
backwards.
No. I'll have to talk to Mr. Ramirez as to what his request. I don't know if that's a,
Well, why don't you table the,
yes, please.
No.
No action,
No
please.
No action on 12B.
Yes, I will get on that right now.
You may want to make sure that you remind them about the meetings. It's important we have the department heads in case we have questions like this.
Yes, sir.
Or a representative, doesn't have to be the department head.
This won't happen again, Judge.
Item 13, Urban County. Good morning, Ms. Serna.
Good morning. How are you today, Judge? Our first item on the agenda is a request on behalf of the City of San Juan, requesting consideration and action to award and enter into a construction contract with Garco Industries for a water and sewer improvement project in the amount of $127,222, and they'll be using their 2010 funding.
Move for approval?
check.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Judge, I will requesting no action on item B. Apparently, we failed to include the scoring grid for your use.
That's item B as in boy?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Item C is requesting a public hearing concerning a proposed budget amendment under the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act of 2009, also known as ARA, for Hidalgo County Precinct 3 and Precinct 4. Judge, I'm requesting that you open the public hearing.
At this time, we're convening a public hearing under the, concerning a proposed budget amendment under the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act. for Hidalgo County Precincts Number 3 and Precinct Number 4. This amendment will decrease the general administration funding by $187,702.97 and will allocate funds evenly into the existing projects to Precinct 3 and 4 to its flood drainage improvement projects for work year plan year 22, which is 2009. Anyone here that desires to speak in favor of or in opposition to this request?
Diana, was there a
Yes,
need
we
to-
got
to
one
modify
presenter. Yes, ma'am. Oh, I saw you raise your hand. I'm sorry.
Is this about the Benitez drain?
No, ma'am, it is not. This is for the funding that came to the county from the actually, the stimulus funding that came to the county, in which it was divided by the 4 precincts.
What are we using it for?
Can you speak into the?
I'm sorry, Judge.
Drainage improvement, but it doesn't say what.
Right, we have multiple projects that are not funded at this point because we obviously in the first rounds were not recipients of any funding whatsoever. So we're utilizing that funding to push forward either the Sunflower 107 project, Trenton Drain. We got multiple projects out there that definitely need the money. We're actually still short.
Okay, thanks.
All right.
Was there a
Any
need
other?
to
Yes.
modify?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Was there a need to modify the total project cost?
Okay, the need to modify which total project cost?
The total project cost?
Yes, as you indicated in your letter of concern, it's 2 of the items, actually one of the items had an incorrect total, but when you actually added the items, it came out to the original total, which was the dollar amount from the...
It was listed?
That was listed, yes.
Thank you.
So what we're requesting here, Judge, is due to the fact that we had administrative money under the Urban County program, we were advised that we had to do something with that excess funding that I was not going to spend in the next 4 months and utilize it for an existing activity. Otherwise, the funds would go back to the federal government and they would be distributed to another entity. So what I chose to do here is to delete as much of my administrative money as I could and split it up between the existing projects that were currently underway. We did not provide any allocation to Precinct 1 or 2 because they, of course, finished their projects as scheduled.
All right.
So,
Any other? Go ahead. Sir.
excuse me. So for being efficient, we cannot compete for this dollar, right?
I'm afraid so. For being
Okay.
efficient and
No, no.
actually allowing me to have this money, we're sort of penalized for it, but I thank you for spending the money quickly.
Thank you.
Any other comments? At this time, we would close our public hearing under this proposed request, and I would entertain a motion to approve the budget amendment as stated under the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act of 2009.
Move for approval?
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you. Item D is a presentation of the scoring grid for purposes of ranking by Hidalgo County Commissioners Court of at least 3 professional engineering service firms for the county's approved pool as graded and evaluated by Precinct 3, the Hidalgo County program staff, and the purchasing department in connection with this round 2.1 disaster recovery funding for Precinct 3 flood drainage improvements. This is known as the Benitez drain. The firms that were graded were Javier Hinojosa Engineering with a 94.33, Hinojosa Engineering with 92%, and Izaguirre Engineering Group with 81%. Would you like to rank them in that order?
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And I believe that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Item 14, our elections office.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Amanda Valdez. I'm here for Mrs. Ramon. I just wanted to give you all an update. Election day is in full swing. We just want to encourage everyone to get out and vote. The polls are open till 7 o'clock tonight. If you all do have any questions about where you can vote, on Election Day, you have to go to your designated polling place for your precinct. If you have any questions, you can call our office. Our phone number is 956-318-2570. You can also get the information on our website, which is www.hgoco.net/elections. And the information is on there. I think on number 2 on our item, we're asking for a no action there.
I would like to, I've already gotten 4 phone calls. One, why are there 2 places to vote in Sullivan City? Why is there 2 places in La Jolla and Peñitas that were not there before?
As far as changes?
Yeah, and why do the people in Lynn and San Manuel have to come to Edinburgh or someplace to vote? And the last one, the Jefferson computer is down.
As far as Jefferson Elementary, Mrs. Ramon did call the location after you called her, and everything was up and running. But everything is up and running at all our locations. Everything is running smoothly. Of course, it's election day. Some people did not show up this morning, but these are things that come up on election day, and we're taking care of that.
Do you have a list of locations that you can provide us with? So for all these people that are calling in, we can advise them where to go.
I can email it. I can get you a hard copy.
No, I need a hard copy.
That's on our website as well, if anybody wants to look for it. But I'll get you a hard copy.
Please.
Sure.
Now, obviously, the difference is there was an increase of voting precincts of almost over 100 new. Is that
We're
correct?
at 257 now, yes.
And prior, we were at 100.
I believe 140.
So obviously, there's different locations for a good chunk of the voting public that go out and vote on election day. So
Right,
there's going to be a
Melissa,
level of confusion today for a lot of them, and we're just making sure that the information is provided to them. I think that we did some postings on the newspaper.
we put it in the newspaper. We put inserts of how the precincts split and the locations.
I know the issue, but it still doesn't take away with, why do we have to drive to Edinburgh to vote, type of thing.
Yeah, but again, if there are any questions, please call our office and we'll direct you to the correct location. Again, the number is 956-318-2570. Thank you.
Oh, well, it's too late, I guess. No, that's okay. Go ahead. Thank you, ma'am. Our next item is item number 15, our Head Start program.
Yes, good morning. The item is requesting exemption from competitive bidding under the Texas Local Government Code 262.024A4 for professional services to provide medical, dental, and mental health services to Head Start children. It's the first part.
Move for approval.
Check.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
The second part is presentation of responses received for the purpose of Commissioners Court accepting the providers as qualified in order to proceed to the next phase of the procurement process, negotiating contracts with the following entities listed under medical, dental, mental health.
Ms. Flores, were there any scores assigned to these individuals?
Actually, sir, if they met all the qualifications, they were all listed in there.
So everyone that is listed
It met the
qualified, and you're going to select?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Need a motion to approve, subject to legal counsel's approval of the form.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Does that take care of number 3, approval to enter into contract?
Yes,
Okay.
we took care of it. Then move on to B.
Letter B, requesting exemption from competitive bidding requirements under Texas Local Government Code 262.024A4, a professional service.
Move for approval.
Check.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And then presentation of the responses received in meeting this, it does have a scoring criteria, sir. In connection with the RFQs for special services for Head Start children in order that Commissioners Court rank qualified as reflected by the scoring grids contained herein in order to proceed to the next phase of the procurement process, which is negotiating the contracts, and there's a list of them.
Move for approval.
Check.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And the third part, approval for Head Start to negotiate contracts in a form approved by legal counsel with all ranked as qualified professional service providers listed herein and above.
Move for approval.
Need a second? Do you have questions, Commissioner?
Yeah. What's the impact of this item in relation to item 2.
Sir, again, the question? I didn't understand.
Item 2.
Well, on item 2B,
Uh-huh. Yes, sir.
you're going to be looking at the RFQs,
Yes, sir.
and then you're asking for approval to negotiate a contract.
Yes, sir.
Don't you bring it back to court after you get the RFQs?
What I understood from the form is that the form is a standard form that has been used in the past for contracts with these entities, and as I understand in number 3, that form is approved by legal counsel, so it would be a matter, if we need to bring it back, we will. But
Well, let me ask Steve, is there any problem with this?
Commissioner, the way I read this is you grant the exemption, you approved her ranking of qualified firms, and now she's asking for the authority to go out and negotiate the contracts.
In a form approved by
In a
you.
form approved by me.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Is there a
Judge, so
second?
Judge, this item and the previous one subject to legal review?
Yes.
Okay.
We have
Both
a
of them.
motion and a second. Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Item 16, Precinct 2.
Morning, Judge, Commissioners. Raul Silguero, representing Precinct 2, Commissioner Tito Palacios. Item 16A, it's a TxDOT project, and Precinct 2, this is approval of a payment to TxDOT as requested by TxDOT in the amount of $62,500 for additional engineering and environmental costs beyond the originally estimated cost in the advanced funding agreement for the Nolana Loop project. We're also requesting authority for the county treasurer to issue a check after review and processing procedures are completed by the county auditor.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Item 17, our Budget Office.
Morning, Judge, Commissioners. Item
Morning, sir.
17A is discussion, consideration, acceptance, and approval of advanced funding agreement between the County of Hidalgo and the Texas Department of Transportation for the La Homa Road project from State Highway 495 to FM 1924, with authority for the county judge to sign the required documents.
So moved.
Judge.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Judge,
Yes.
this, the advanced funding agreement apparently has a language that's contradictory. Page 6, item 13, states, real property will be conveyed to the local government, in this case, the county. However,
Excuse me, I'm sorry, where are you reading?
well, the documentation that is provided
It's
attached
within
to
the document
agenda item.
itself, Judge. Items 13C and D appear to be. However, item 13C deals with the relocations of persons. I did forward the concern that the auditor had to TxDOT. Mr. Bazan and Mr. Jorge are reviewing it and are going to forward that over to their legal counsel in the state. However, they did ask if we could proceed in approving this. If there appears to be any, if they do find that there is some type of contradictory language, they will bring forth an amendment to this agreement. However, because of the way the state handles these issues, it would take significant amount of time before they bring an amendment. Again, this is standard language in all their contracts that they've had for the past 4 to 5 years that I know of. So we're just asking to get this approved, and then if it is determined that there is contradictory language, we will bring that back to court as an amendment.
All right. Any other questions?
That's all that I have, Judge.
Would
So
entertain
for
a
the
motion to approve item as presented.
So moved.
Check.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 17B is presentation discussion on a monthly budget report for the month of April
cover item
2012.
Cover item 2, sir.
Excuse me?
You cover item 2 of A2?
Yes, I requested that item 2 be included, the authorization for the judge to sign the required documents. Yes, sir. And item 17B is the monthly report for the month of April. This is just a follow-up, giving you additional information for the month of April that we presented a couple of weeks ago on the quarterly report. I don't know the court wishes me to go through it
Yes,
in
it is.
detail.
It is.
Basically, right now, we're at about 25% of expenditures from our budget, so we are tracking
Yes.
similar to last year, so we appear to be doing well. I don't know if y'all have any questions, or you'd just like me to proceed? It doesn't require any formal acceptance, it's just a presentation to the court. So no action is required on that. On item 17C1 is approval of 2012 unappropriation of funds in the amount of $17,023.20 from the court reporter fund.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 17C2A is approval of certification of revenues as certified by the county auditor for the Precinct 1 drainage improvement project.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Do you want to put an amount in there?
Yes, the amount's going to be 40, it's covered on the C2B, the appropriation of funds for the Precinct 1 drainage improvement project in the amount of $42,898.42.
All right.
If I can get an approval on that?
Need a motion and a second?
So moved.
Check.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 17C3 is approval of 2012 appropriation of funds for Precinct 2 in the amount of $208,445 from the Precinct 2 Road and Bridge Fund balance.
So,
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And item C4 is approval of certification of revenues as certified by the county auditor for drainage revenues in the total amount of $42,409.81.
So,
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And item 4B is the appropriation of those funds into the Precinct 4 fund in the total amount of $42,409.81. And these are for reimbursements from the Drainage District Number 1 for the J09 drainage project.
so,
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item C4 is approval of the certification of revenues as certified by the county auditor for the Precinct 4 drainage improvement project labor reimbursements for the months of January and February in the total amount of $47,131.22.
So,
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. And 5B is the appropriation of those funds, again in the amount of $47,131.22.
Move for approval.
check.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Item 18, purchasing.
Good morning, Martha Salazar for the Purchasing Department. Nothing to report or action to be taken on item 18A, 1, 2, and 3. Item B, 1, requesting exemption from competitive bidding requirements under Texas Local Government Code 262-024A, a professional service.
So,
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Presentation of the scoring grid for the purposes of ranking by Commissioner's Court of the firms graded and evaluated. Those Logistics at 99, Quintanilla Headley and Associates 95, SAM Engineering and Surveying at 94. Does the court wish to rank them in the order of their scores?
so,
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Authority for purchasing to negotiate a professional engineering services contract with the number 1 ranked firm of Those Logistics.
Move for approval.
check.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 2, requesting
Marty,
approval.
for point of information, who in your office does the negotiation of contracts like these?
The contracts managers. It would be the one assigned to this. And what we do is once we get the initial submission of fees and rates, we send them off to Mr. Raul Cecin to review.
To who?
Mr. Raul Cecin
Okay.
to review and give us his opinion on whether they are within the range of customary. If he feels they're not in the range, he advises us, and then we have a meeting. This is a case in point last week on an item with LNG on the environmentals, but it could be for any of them. He gave us his opinion that he felt they were a little high, We brought the company in, we did a one-to-one negotiating with them at the table. At the end of the day, they did not budge from their rates and fees. We went then to the commissioner who was requesting it, and he felt that their response was justifying. Although they weren't excessive, they were on the higher range, and they did not change their proposed fees. But we did make an attempt.
Thank you.
Yes. And so the same applies here. Item 2, this is requesting approval of a professional engineering services agreement with Rabbi Kistner Consulting for the provision of construction materials testing in connection to a job-specific project, new multipurpose facility. There are 2 corrections that need to be done on their letter. They have been sent emails. They have agreed to correct them, one of them being the date, and secondly being that this is happening in Hidalgo County. There's a pro forma letter that they use, and it's stated Bear. It will be done subject to those 2 corrections being received.
30-day, Marty?
And the 30-day payment, yes. Those were the 3.
B2.
Those were the 2, I'm sorry. Mr. Fracio, you're correct. I do have the emails. They have responded since it was on Friday. We did not, we haven't gotten anything. We reminded them again, but on the phone, they did agree to the 2 corrections.
So,
You're recommending we approve this agreement?
Yes, sir. It will not be executed without the corrections.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
The next one is recommendation by project engineer Javier Hinojosa Engineering to Hidalgo County Commissioners Court to award to the lowest bidder meeting all specifications, and that is $163,402.20, and that's to GP7 Construction LLC, and this is for road and drainage construction of La Homas Road subdivision.
Move for approval.
check.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Requesting exemption from competitive bidding requirements on 18C2 for 262024A professional service.
So,
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item B is presentation of the scoring grid for the purposes of ranking of the of the firms graded and evaluated through the county's approved pool for construction materials testing, L&G at 94, Earth Company at 67, Terracon at 86. Does the court wish to rank them in the order of their scores?
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Authority for the purchasing department to negotiate a professional construction materials testing contract with L&G.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
D1, Colonia Access Program Precinct 4, requesting exemption from competitive bidding requirements under Texas Local Government Code, Section 262024A4, a professional materials construction materials testing service agreement. That's the exemption first.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Presentation of the scoring grid for the purposes of ranking of the firms graded and evaluated. Those are L&G at 98, MEG 96, and Arabic Kistner at 97. Does the court wish to rank them in the order of their scores?
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Authority for the purchasing department to negotiate a professional construction materials testing contract with L&G.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Presentation of the different options available for Commissioners Court and approval in connection with the improvements to a county-owned building housing the Hidalgo County WIC program. And this is, first of all, an approval of a memorandum of understanding drafted by legal counsel between Hidalgo County and the WIC program in connection with the housing of the program at a county-owned facility located 3105 East Richardson Road, Edinburgh, Texas. This must be in place in order for WIC to be allowed to use their funds to improve an Hidalgo County building. So I do need action.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
I'm not going to take action on any of the additional items as the architect and Ms. Norma have not come to a conclusion. There's different options here. We certainly are going to attempt to salvage a bid that we have on file once she receives authority to be able to use those funds, and she delivers this memorandum of understanding to the state offices. That's all I have.
Thank you. Right.
Thank you. I hope everyone gets out and votes if they haven't voted.
Thank you, ma'am. This time, we entertain a motion to proceed to executive session pursuant to 551-071 and 072 of the Texas Government Code.
Judge.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. It's now 10:50. We're in executive session. All right, we're back in open session under item number 21.
Thank you, Judge, Commissioners. Item 21, open session. Item 21A, real estate acquisition appropriation, the same. Mr. Peña?
Yes, Judge, Commissioners, I've got a couple of items. First, request authorization to use Precinct 4 on-call contract for appraisal services to appraise a piece of property located within Precinct 4.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And my second item is a piece of property on the South McCall offsite drain, parcel 24B. The appraised value is $7,464. The counter offer is $8,800 for a difference of $1,336, and I recommend approval.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Guerra?
Item 20B, no action at this time under pending and or potential litigation. Item 20, my apologies, I'm sorry, 21. Item 21B, no action pending and or potential. Item 21C, claim of Antonio Leal. Judge, Commissioners, I would like authority to make an offer, settlement offer in the amount of $110.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
21D, claim of Armandina Alvarez. Judge, Commissioners, I would like authority to make a settlement offer in the amount of $120.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 21E, EEOC charge number 451-2011-01873, Oscar Leyva. Judge, Commissioners, we have reached a settlement, tentative settlement agreement in this case. I'm asking Commissioners Court to consider and take action in settlement of this EEOC charge in the amount of $20,000.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 21F, EEOC charge number 451-2012-00336, Nancy Salinas versus Hidalgo County Community Service Agency. Judge, Commissioners, again, we have reached a tentative agreement, again, subject to Commissioners Court approval. I'm asking the Court to consider and act on settlement of this EEOC EEOC charge number in the amount of $25,000.
Move for approval.
Check.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
That is all I have.
At this time, we will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen.
But then those payments will be made to the individuals listed?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We will have all appropriate documentation to your office.
Thank you.
Rise.